All right, so let's talk about the new Netflix movie, The Electric State. You already know. That's why you're here. You clicked on the video. So let's talk about it. I think that this movie is perfectly okay. It is very much slightly above average, just because the main issue with this movie is its story. The story is so convoluted and condensed with so many subplots that all are interlinked and very crucial to the main plot, but not like directly. It's very indirect at the beginning, and then it only makes more sense later. But then by then you're like, oh, so that's why all of this is happening and how this became, but it wasn't very clear. And I do understand that it's probably for like a twist reveal, and I think it's interesting, but like I do think that this could have benefited maybe a little bit better from a series format where they can tease the reveal a little bit more, because I do feel like it kind of comes out of nowhere. But yeah, story is all right, but I'll give it a hot pocket score here just because I think it could have been better executed in a show rather than a movie. Now, the cinematics, I do think that this movie is very, very good visually speaking. The robots look amazing. I'm still uncertain of. I actually think that they were all CGI, which is kind of a shame. Maybe like it would have been cool to have some animatronic work, but the visual effects on the robots do look fantastic. I think that they were mocapped is probably why they looked really good. Um, and the soundtrack is pretty good. And I do think that they use needle drops pretty effectively, and they're pretty funny as they are diegetic as well. And they make for some pretty good comedic scenes. So I'm gonna give a hand grenade here for the cinematics, as it also does have pretty good action sequences. Not the best, but interesting and cool enough. Directing, I think the Russo brothers do a good job directing. Although, like I said, I think it could have been better. It could have benefited from being a episodic series instead of a 2 hour movie, as there is so much to cover that this movie tries to cover in 2 hours that it just doesn't work. But it also dragged. So I think a episodic show could have done a little bit better in pacing out and rearranging story structure and story elements a little bit more and better and more efficiently than a 2 hour movie that just kind of the emotional moments just kind of happen, and that's kind of underwhelming, but pretty solid. I'll give it a hot pocket score. I'll give a hot pocket score for the directing. So Russo brothers, congrats. The acting, now there are so many actors to list that were in this movie. So let's just list the main two and then my favorite actors and what they did in their performances and what I thought about them. Millie Bobby Brown and Chris Pratt are okay in their roles. I think they're like good, but they don't elevate the material. I think they play their parts well, but like I think people are just sick and tired of them. So just the fact that they played it well means they're like, oh, why can they do better? And I'm like, they did it good enough. I don't think the material there was capable of being elevated beyond what was already written, and I don't think anyone could have potentially changed that. Now, some other actors that I really like that are in the movie, Anthony Mackie, which you couldn't tell unless you looked it up, in my opinion. I like Woody Harrelson. He's all right. He plays a really weird role in the movie, and I don't know how I feel about that. Kei Kwan is in the movie and is amazing as always, even though I do like the robot Kei Kwan more than normal Kei Kwan. You'll understand when you watch the movie. Giancarlo Esposito is there, and he is awesome just like always, but very random inclusion in my opinion. And Stanley Tucci as well plays a decent villain, very a generic villain, but like there's so many actors that you're just watching and you go, "What? You're here out of nowhere?" But yeah, it was interesting. I'll give a hot pocket score here though, because like I said, it's nothing too special. No one really stole the show for me, and I think that they were all just fine. But yeah, in conclusion, I'm gonna give this movie a certified hot pocket score. I think it is perfectly okay. It is something that you will enjoy eating once or twice, but you don't want to have too much of it because you will get sick of it. But it's interesting. It's worth one watch for sure, and then maybe you check it out once you're craving it, like years down the road. But yeah, expectations that it about met my expectations, and the experience was all right. That certified hot pocket score. But that's pretty much all I have to say. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment down below your thoughts and opinions on The Electric State if you are now planning on checking it out or you've already seen it, and subscribe if you haven't already. And other than that, I will leave you guys to it.